you have lost body fat percentage.
Yay.
You have lost some fat and gained lean.
Awesome.
And we'll see that here, lean muscle and fat went down. And you can see here, 1.2 pounds of lean gained, 1 pound of fat lost. And overall, you gained 0.1 pounds, but it was your muscle.
But you know, I've been in the season, just to catch everybody up, the last year and a half, essentially since Worlds. I have not been on a regular nutrition or exercise program. I've gained quite a bit of weight since then. Have also lost a lot of muscle mass. What I want to, I guess, differentiate between those seasons and the season I'm in now is that a lot of what people have been following me for is weight loss for aesthetics. Getting on stage, I'm a fitness competitor, and that was kind of what started my weight loss journey. But prior to that, I was an elite athlete. And so I've always been very athletic, very fit, but I didn't necessarily look that way. My body composition, my body fat was always well over, I would say, 25 to 30%, which I wasn't happy with as being an athlete. I always thought I should have looked differently, but I didn't understand nutrition. I didn't really understand the whole caloric balance thing at that time. It was on my heart, especially in this year and in this season, to really start bringing the focus away from aesthetics. Not that that's a bad thing necessarily. I think you can achieve that while you're achieving just general health and wellness goals. But I definitely want to take my brand away from that. It was never intended to be that. My heart really is in athletics. My heart is in general health and wellness. I originally went to school to be a doctor, a physician, and I really kind of want to bring my personal focus back to that. I have a lot of musculoskeletal issues. I have chronic pain in a lot of my joints. Just from the many years of playing volleyball. I have a lot of imbalance in terms of my strengths, also in terms of my flexibility and what we call our muscle length, which affects pain and mobility in the joints. But I've been functioning in this dysfunction for the last several years, and I don't want to do that anymore. I've been very, very active because a lot of what I did was teaching group classes. I actually worked out with my clients. I was just very, very active, and then raising 3 kids. We were just always on the go all the time. So I was very active. That definitely changed in the last year and a half, where I do a lot more consulting work now, a lot more writing, a lot more video coaching, and so I don't move as much as I used to. So another focus in this season for me was to find ways to improve my daily activity. Things that I could do, incorporate every single day to help bring, that calorie burn through daily activity back up. How did I increase daily activity? The first thing I did was I got up very early in the morning. So, I'm self-employed, which means, I'm my own boss. So if I want to sleep in, I have the luxury of sleeping in. So I kind of nipped that in the bud because, when your sleep's kind of all over the place and you do sit around a lot, it's just very easy to just kind of get really comfortable in that. So I started getting up again at 6:30 in the morning, try to get up when the sun comes up, and I start moving right away instead of just laying in bed and thinking about, life in general. Second way was I have 2 dogs, and I take them out, probably 3 times a day normally. So I just doubled that. I started taking them out instead of every 4 or 5 hours, every 2 or 3 hours. And I live on a 3rd floor apartment, so I have to go down those stairs, up the stairs, and we walk a good little ways around the block, maybe 5-10 minutes or so, and then we just come back up. Leaving the comfort of my air-conditioned apartment and going out into the Florida heat, in June, is definitely going to raise my body temperature and gets that blood flow going a little bit. The third thing that I think in terms of just regular activity that I did was add a walk jog in once a week. And when I mean a walk jog, I mean a walk jog. So I was not breaking any records, trust me, going on this 1 mile, 2 mile, at the most 3 mile walk jog that would go anywhere between 20 minutes to 30 minutes. At longer one might have been 40-45 minutes, and that's usually because I was talking on my phone with somebody, or I was with somebody and we were blah 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 blah. Go for walks with friends. That's awesome. I was next to nowhere near the weight room during these last 10 weeks. So let's go to the report. Now, I will tell you what I thought was going to happen when I went in for my scan. I, honest to God, thought I had gained weight. Honest to God, I thought my fat was going to have gone up. I was just hoping my muscle mass would have stayed the same, because I was thinking I didn't lift any weights, so how would I have gained any muscle? And I wasn't tracking my food, and I know that there were days I was overeating, there's some days I was undereating. I think averaged out, I was probably kind of keeping at what we call maintenance. I actually lost a pound of fat and was really surprised I gained 1.2 pounds of muscle, and this has been again in the last 10 weeks. Now that might not be like some super wow type number for 10 weeks, which honestly it isn't, but in the grand scheme of things it actually is. If I had just looked at the scale and 10 weeks has gone by and I'm thinking, well, I'm moving more and I'm jogging once or twice a week and I'm doing more stuff, but the scale isn't changing, very easily in my head I could have said, well, nothing's working, so if nothing's working, then I might as well just sleep in, or I might as well just go back to walking the dogs 3 times a day instead of 6 times a day. I might as well cut out that jog run that I've been doing, because obviously it's not working according to the scale. But according to the scan, it did something. So then the second thing that happened was my RMR went up. And again, not by a significant amount. I think it was about almost 60 calories. So that actually went up with, I would say because I added a pound of muscle to my body, but also because I had been just using the muscle that I already had and making that just more active. If I were to extrapolate that result over the last 10 weeks over the rest of the year, that would equate to technically 5 pounds of fat loss and 6 pounds of muscle gain, if I were to just assume that the same pattern would continue on, right? And so little things like that really do add up over time. And see, when we get my scan done in another 10 weeks, how now adding a very intentional macro plan and a light exercise plan can really, have profound results. All right, so.